on the new moon in Taurus. I am recording this on the 17th of May. It is in about 2 days from now, which would make it the 19th. Check your local time. We are going to go into some of the chart, pick cards, and just have an overall good time. We have Nephthys in front of me, Nephthys behind me. She has a vulture on her head. The first letter in the alphabet, A, is Aleph, which means vulture. And it got turned into ox. And it's the beginning, a woman, the crown of creation. You are the crown of creation. And I've got a lav mic. Shout out to Rode Wireless Me. We're giving it a test to see if it works all right. It's wireless. Okay, we have a lot of energy in earth and water. New beginnings in water. New emotional feelings. Feeling a new way about life, perhaps, hopefully. And it's creating stability in earth. Fixed earth, Taurus. Shooting out, Cardinal, Cancer. The depositor of this new moon in Taurus, hosted by Taurus. Well, the hostess, Venus, is in Cancer. So it will give it an emotional feeling. Already the moon's involved. Cancer is the home of the moon. This is goddess, fertile energy, newness. Nephthys is the sacred virgin prostitute in the Holy of Holies, guarded by Isis, her sister, the brighter star. She is Procyon, the lesser dog star that follows behind Major Cana. At the wedding feast of Cana, she will transform. She brings us to the Christ, to the chrism. And it's at her wedding feast of Cana, in the major star Cana, where this miracle happens. Be open to miracles. The miracle is you. The new life is us. We have to constantly be renewed. Shed off the old skin. South Node. Scorpio. Transform. Transmutate. So that we don't get stagnant. Because stagnancy decays and dies anyway, so we might as well consciously dead what we don't want. We have 2 months left of this nodal axis of Taurus, North Node. What we're karmically pointed towards are our karmic arrow, directional arrow, pointed towards what we have, our possessions, what we value, stability. What is fruitive in our life? What are we nurturing? This is water together with earth. This is mud. This is clay from which a man is made. A new man. Human. What is animalistic in us that needs to be tamed and rode like a camel? Goaded like an ox. An ox goad is the 12th letter, Lamed, L. It's likened to a staff And it's when you've learned the 12 zodiac signs, and then you teach it. L. If your name begins with the L, it means teaching and learning through discipline. It's not the most, it's the 12th card where Odin is sacrificing himself to get the runes, the meanings of the letters, A through Z, Alpha, Omega, Zeta, Aleph through Tau. And in the letters, it's the alchemical transmutation process. The Aleph, the father, getting together with the Bet, the mother, creating the seed, the child, or the Gi, the Gamal. The 1, 2, the 3. And on. Well, right now, we have the 2 and the 4 to bring together. How can we best bring in our material world, our house, our temple, our body, the home that we live in? We have a chance to really inject some good feelings into that. And then out of that, a new, better structure, a new temple. This is a washing away of the temple, a reorganizing, restructuring. Should have already been done with Mercury in retrograde. Now we're getting ready to go out. So when we go out, how are we going to do that the best? Depends on how we go in. If we're just constantly going out, so we have really nothing to give. Probably wasting time and doing actually more harm than good. But if we go in to fill up our cup, our soul, through healing, reflection, meditation, silence, baths, candles, and nurturing our soul, then when we go out, we're a wellspring and we could feed others. Our words will be words of nourishment to others. That's just a little bit of channeling. I made my own cards because the Rider-Waite deck, you can even see that they mixed up the Strength card with the Justice card. 11 and 8 as a blind. There's something to learn there, but I don't like all the attachments to it's on the Hebrew alphabet, and I want to break through the Hebrew alphabet. And the Hebrew alphabet comes from very Egyptian in nature. Aleph is the first letter in the Egyptian is before, and then before that, Babylonian, Sumerian, Akkadian, Chaldean. Ultimately, Sumeria is where the first civilization from, the first writing, and where we get this astrology comes all the way back from then. The Hebrew people will say that all comes from them. Unless they're Sumerian. I mean, they say Abraham came from Ur, which is in Sumeria. But these are stories, and they don't have a monopoly on God. And so that's why, you take your own power, you take whatever, and you transmutate it. So you take something ugly in your life, and there's energy there. You put a lot of energy into it, probably an addiction, a habit. There's a lot. We expend energy onto that. Well, we can reclaim that by transforming it. How do we do that? Discipline. Why are we doing it? We're sacrificing ourselves for our higher self, which is all of ourselves together, that community. the celestial community, how we're all connected on one grand soul. We're just pieces. Some traditions would say shards, like of glass. And we have just the Gentile, the Goy, has just a little bit of God on him that can be redeemed. But then there's like 3 Sephiroth on the Kliptoph that are irredeemable. Sorry. So we're taking Hermeticism, which is taken into Kabbalism, and then because of its context, is very anti-Gentile. So we transform that by what? Taking knowledge to it, comprehension. They say if you fully comprehend one of your vices, in the comprehension of it fully, you transform it and you break through the duality of it. And then you see it was actually just your mind. It was an illusion, a phantom, a chain that we were holding around our own neck. Damn. And then when and then also seeing the reality of it, how harmful it is, how selfish, how hurtful to ourselves, to our loved ones. A compunction of heart. I have an image of the Virgin Mary with a sword through her heart. The stars Procyon and Sirius, they blink as they follow the corpse of Orion. It's the two Marys at the tomb of Jesus. They used to go and weep. They would pay people to weep at funerals. They still do that in New Orleans. After doing an honest reflection of one's own conscious life and how they've spent their energy, and if you're not moved to tears, then you're not doing it right. And now from those waters, from our tears, can right now grow a new life that is built on love, ultimate Venus, love. A mother's love right now is that energy that we can really use to make our temple full, pure. Jupiter's just entering into Taurus. This is a good time. I mean, I predicted markets to crash before probably the dollar to crash before the nodes change in 2 months. But at the same time, we have Jupiter in Taurus for the year. But when Jupiter hits Uranus in Taurus, then that'll be a big shake-up to the markets. But that's not until halfway through the year. Right now, you can tap into that energy to make what you can use Uranus, Jupiter, Taurus energy, the sun there right now, really illuminating a new forward-thinking way of what your values, your possessions, your money in the bank. Shawty, what you bank? Yes. Yeah. New ways of doing money. I mean, they're going to try to push that digital currency on us. And then if you say something that the government doesn't agree with, they lock down your account so you can't buy or trade. Or maybe trade. Yeah, this could be just... Taurus is simple. You know a Taurus. They don't like change. Very stubborn. And they can also just be very satisfied with very little. Very. They're fun like that. I'm Scorpio. I'm always deep into the waters of fighting in my psyche. And Taurus, the opposite, is kind of like just above the ground. I don't want to say shallow, but simple. And I appreciate that. I need it too. Just the human body is Taurus. It's the temple. Bet means foot. But no, it means tent, house, temple. We are a temple, a house of what? Of the Aleph, the fire and air, the spirit of God. How can we be a good channel? By getting all that stuff, the dark clogginess, muck out, density. And then what do we want to bring into density, into materiality? Hopefully it's in line with our higher self. And we bring those two together as one, which brings us to the child, after the A, the B, then to the C. The creation, the work. The creation of a child, it's not like, okay, you made a child, now you're done. You created, that's work. Taurus, work. Plowing a field, shows up every day. What are we showing up every day to do? How are we using our energy? What are we valuing? These are all good reflections for this time. And newness, spring new. The new way of going about it. Oasis un posiri. Mozart in the Magic Flute has a beautiful ritual, Masonic, they got in trouble for sharing, of the marriage of Isis and Osiris. We got two cards, Cancer, where Venus is, and Mars is at its anaretic degree, the 28th, 29th degree. This is Mars in Cancer, surrender your sword. Put down your sword and surrender to Kali. You can't beat her. She will wipe you out and she will cut off your head and wear it around her necklace. Drink your blood of your ego that needs to die so that you can be born again of the waters of Shemaim, the waters of heaven, into earth. That's how we are that conduit, that connector, the Vav, the sixth. And we are the and. Heaven and earth. The and is us. We bring to earth from what is in our heaven, our thoughts into reality. We can change our thoughts through our conscious willpower, and then our reality will reflect it. Yes, let us go. That's how we are magicians. That's how we're going out and coming in. 6, 9. 6, the number of Venus. 9, the number of Mars. How we bring together our masculine fighting energy as it gets ready to go into Leo, where it's going to roar. Mercury retrograde. We just got out of it. So that's the pulling back and then the release. And so now it's going forward, but it's still got to get out of its past energy, fogginess, shadow. And then bam, then it goes out eventually of Taurus into Gemini. Sun will eventually go into Gemini in just like a week. Mars will be into Leo. Venus will still be in Cancer. Venus is conjunct the brightest star in the night sky, Sirius, for this. That is beautiful. Sirius should also be the seer, also called sophist, which is where we get wisdom, or sothis, which is where we get a soothsaying, is by just staring, stargazing. Go out, go find the brightest star in the night sky, stare at it. It'll put you in a trance. And it'll speak to you through her blinking and her colors, blue and white, which is why they have the blue and white on the temples in Israel and Epstein's Island. Because they sacrifice not to the goddess, Isis, they sacrifice Isis, the sacred goddess. Innocence, purity, intentionally. They do depraved, sick stuff, doing dark. And we're bringing the light. These dark occultists, they rule the world. The same way that, and then into science. And Epstein was meeting with scientists all the time. Bill Gates, the head of all this. And he's not alone. There are lots of other Epsteins out there. But he was the top agent. This is why my Aquarian TV channel goes nowhere. What other astrologer? You came here to just find love? When I fall in love today? Actually, the love is there. This is a great time for marrying the emotional mind, the heart, emotional, together with the physical body. And you could do that in sacred sex. With all this Cancer energy, you but cry during sex. Because it's so beautiful, maybe. That's ultimately what we want to try to do. The way that we get together with God and experience God the most intensely and beautifully through sex. Lots of energy there. And we could take that energy and we bring our higher self, God, into it. Our higher selves combined together, one, none. And you really, from what I read, that's how you create a child in the heavenly realms, the soul realms. That's how we create a soul. Through the earthen way, we create an earthly body. But then spiritually, when we're creating a spiritual child as well, in the realm of the soul. But we're like building our soul. And you do that, you give the energy and sex to God, if you will. Your innermost. And she will build you a beautiful temple. If you want to manifest in this world, you're going to want to tap in to this world and manifesting, which is earth. And what grows the earth? Water. And then we want to get our fire, our energy, and our air, our thoughts, all in line, balanced. As we are five, we are the five-pointed star of the pentagram, with our four elements balanced, working for us as we're a conduit from heaven to earth, which is the magician card teaching us in the tarot, which is Aleph, which is a small god. Moses was called the small Aleph. The big god is Orion. The big Aleph, ox, goater, who pushes the ox, who leads the ox, who is Moses, Mithras, the good shepherd. So may we be guided, and may we help to guide others. But know that so many of us, myself included, are looking to lead others. When I'm leading myself off a cliff through my actions and thoughts and blind following the blind. Everybody wants to be followed. And what am I giving in value? What do I have of value? That's a Taurus question. My body. How am I treating my body? Not so good. What do I have of value? My soul. How am I treating my soul? My spirit. I got spirit. I got spirit. Yes, I do. I got spirit. How about you? How am I treating that? My house, my home. How am I treating it? Clear away and then look around you and see what you have of value. And what's that value? It can be useful. It's kind of a practical time. Not such as, although we do have the sun right now and into this new moon, which will be making a beautiful sextile to Neptune in Pisces, bringing in some spiritual fruit, but it'll just take a little bit of work. A sextile takes, you just gotta have sex with it. So I have sex with the Poseidon, Neptune in Pisces at the 27th degree. The 2 to the 7 is bringing us more surrendering into the abyss. Throw your ego off into the dark cliff. And from there, we'll pull the secrets of the runes. Yeah, there's something about we just gotta sometimes humble ourselves in order to learn more. God, just look out at nature and how we don't understand any of it, let alone our own bodies. And let us learn from it, from just a tree. An animal. A sunset. A cloud. A leaf with a freaking bug on it. It's in moments like that. Bam! Get a moksha moment. A nirvana moment. And then we come back into Earth, hopefully more in tune with reality, that this is all an illusion, but it's a real illusion. What's it called it's in Buddhism. They'll say a saying to like spark you out of like your dream for a second. What's that word I'm looking for? It's like, what is the sound of one hand clapping? I know we all want to go like that, but what's that sound? Or one of my favorites is, okay, we want to get rid of all desire. Okay, but there's still that desire to get rid of that desire. Bam! Moksha! Escape the wheel of samsara. And then we come back into it and we play with it. Work it. Plow it. Plow that field. Oh, Taurus, ox. Yeah, let's get it, dog. Let's get it. Get ready for things to really start getting frantic. This is actually, believe it or not, a time of almost laziness. Well, don't be lazy, but relax. The number one way to open up your chakras, to rise your holy chrism, to unfurl the coiled up snake at the bottom of the bridge, to save the virgin in the ivory tower of our temple, on our spine, which is the Vav, which is the and, which is the connector, our spine, the connection between heaven and earth. Let it be aligned with the axis mundi, pointed towards the North Pole, towards the center still place. upright in action and thought. And we are the and. Let the and be one within us. Oh, I. Let your I be one. Let your spine be a home for that sacred fire of fennel. Hollowed out is where Prometheus held the fire stolen from the gods, which is in our spine. And how do we do this? Through upward doggy pose? By stretching? Or even by studying? No, it's by doing, practicing. Studying, stretching, all that helps. But if we're not actively searching for goddess in ourselves, when we find her in ourselves, we can see her in others better. And spine is like the polar symbolism. We want to get in the center, reconciling opposites, synthesizing theses and antitheses. Maybe if you're a male, you want to worship the goddess. If you're a female, you worship the god, because you are the goddess. If you're a male, you worship the goddess because you are God, my dude. You're God. I know, barely out of the animal kingdom, but we're called to be gods. Minerals give birth to animals, or to plants. Plants, the next evolutionary stage is animals. Animals, the next evolutionary stage is humans, which we're called a human out of encouragement that hopefully we will become a human one day. Fully realize consciously our humanity. But I would argue we act even worse than the beasts of the field or the wild freaking forests. All that tribalism, that in, that out, that is animalistic in nature, not human. So the one card I did pick was the Cancer card. Cancer gone wrong could be emotional outbursts, moodiness. So really, we have a chance to fix in our surroundings and in our temple, our body, so that we could not get wiped out and blown away with our emotions, but we could actually hold them and use them to fuel the fire to cook us a beautiful steak. When we eat, I'm guilty of this, but when I'm consciously in tuned, I'm like, oh, the steak. An animal had to suffer and die and give up his life so I could sustain myself and continue my life. Well, let me consciously give thanks to that bull. May it join the sacred bulls in heaven. Thank you for this sustenance. Plants that sacrifice themselves so that I could live and be strong. That's the only sacrifice that we want to recognize in Aquarianism. In Aquarianism, we think the sacrificing of a human to God, or a blood sacrifice atonement ritual to forgive sins and to cast them on an animal and run it off a cliff, or even cast those sins onto another human being, as in Jesus, and then kill it and then drink its blood and flesh. I'm a Catholic former priest trainee, I was partaking in the Eucharist and helping in the celebration of the Mass. And Aquarian is taking us out of the transferring of the sin blood atonement ritual. We're not pouring out buckets of blood to satiate the appetite of some god. We're getting out of that. And what's the sacrificing that we're doing? We sacrifice our time, our energy for our higher version of ourselves, not just our base animalistic desires. And then all the life that had to sacrifice for us to be here, we give thanks for. And that's how we deal with sacrifice. I got the letter F. The sixth letter in our alphabet. In Hebrew, it goes to Vav, which is our spine. It's also the letter Aleph. A 1 to the 6 is man. 6 is the number of man. It's the spine before it reaches the 7th, where it's crowned, the crown chakra. Ruled by Aries, the ram. Worthy as the lamb. So what Aries is also I am. Is we have to sacrifice that I am. And crown it with the Z, the Zion. And that's how we're trying to expand our consciousness and evolve consciously. We see in the material realm evolution of the species. But it's hard to look around and see that we're consciously evolving, holy moly. So my friends, that is going to commence our reflection on this new moon in Taurus, which is, it's the new Earth. How are we bringing in that new Earth? Or when that new Earth comes, is it going to bulldoze us over? The bull of Taurus? Because things are about to get pretty frantically like a bull in a china shop. So right now we really want to work on getting grounded, earthed. I'm in Florida, the United States of America. We got Governor DeSantis, and he is going to save us from these transvestite teachers to our children by checking women menopausing to make sure that they're not participating in sports that they have no business in. Zion, Don, Ron, you want Ron or Don? Both tools of Zion. We're breaking out of the Abraham matrix here at the Aquarian. How do we do that? Learning. I know, and so when it gets, because you learn and you're like, oh, you learn more about your own slavery, and it gets depressing. We're not going to be able to take the chains off us if we don't even know that we're in chains. Set me free, why don't you, baby? Swing low, sweet chariot. We're chained in by our animal-based desires, selfish, and fear, and that lower. And so how do we raise up out of that? Effort, conscious willpower, grabbing our spine like a sword from its root, its base, courageously, consciously, and then wielding that sword, slewing our enemies. Oh, we are in a battle, a war. What's a good way to beat somebody in war, in a battle? To have them not even know that there's one going on. The battle for our very soul. Our freedom. Our humanity. These dark occultists want full control in their one world order. And it's all the Abrahamic workings through Masonry, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. And even New Ageism. They have us looking forward to a world to come instead of the here and now. Reality check time, Saturn and Pisces. We'll be having reality check times for the next 3 years. But we also let us keep the hope and be a reason for hope in this world. Cancer, it's getting in touch with our ancestry, past lives. But not just for shits and giggles, but so that we can actually evolve, work our way up the mount of the opposite side of Cancer, Capricorn. Thinking about what are we leaving behind. Here's a good reflection. Reincarnation, taught in Judaism, lost in Christianity somehow. I don't know, it's even in the scriptures and whatnot. And because we're going to come back into the situation that we built right now. They believe that the work that they do, they come back in the next life to reap it or not. Well, if we're not fighting for our freedom and they're going to lock everybody up in freaking cages, then when we come back, we're going to be full-blown slaves. Or our children will be when we're gone because we're too cowardly, too afraid, too comfortable, too lazy to do anything about not just the slavery in our world and laws and restrictions and sharing of knowledge, but slavery in our own minds to name it. What are we taking in? What are we feeding ourselves health-wise? What are we feeding ourselves through images and sound? And what are we listening to? What are we watching? That is what inhabits our temple. Most of the inhabitants of my temple are thieves, stealing my fucking energy, my time. So let's drive them. Take your belt off, your sexual willpower energy. Drive those thieves out of the temple. Flip the tables. They've turned our Father's house into a den of thieves. Let us reclaim back this temple, which is earth, which is temporary holding space for God. And we are a microcosm of that. Beautiful how this all comes together. Look how beautiful the goddess. She reminds me that I am God and what I'm called to do. I have to strengthen my devotion to her. And how do I do that? By being at service to her. And how do I be at service to her? By seeing her in every freaking body and in the earth. Am I being a good steward of the earth, of what I have, of my material valuables? These are questions. Reflect on the color green, Venus's color. Mare, mem, the waters, the sexual waters that give life. What water? How do our waters look? Are we drained because we're a jerk off? Because we're addicted to pornography? Is our water freaking murky and poisonous? Or are our waters pure? Bring in some crystal quartz that it can house light and reflect it like the beautiful moon who guides us through the darkness, out of the valleys, up to the hill, up to the mountain top, on freaking the wings of a dove. Colombia. Colombia is a dove, a column. And it's likened to the Holy Spirit, Bana. The third person, the Holy Trinity. There's a Trinity, a masculine one, God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And then there's a Trinity of the goddess. And when they come together, they make the six-pointed star of David, shield of David, magic sigil that they freaking cop. And so we're bringing in the 8-pointed star, which puts a line through the 6. And the 8-pointed star is a symbol of the goddess. 80 is the 17th letter in the Hebrew alphabet, which is Peh, which is powerful verbiage, words spoken, blow. The fulfillment of creation, the Aquarian age, the world to come. Well, let it not be the Abrahamic version of it, which needs a Gog and Magog war and a shit ton of people to die. Let the truth come out that lots of this is astral, mythological in nature. Oh, Taurus on the bottom of the deck. Confirming where we are in Taurus season. That beautiful Bella bull. Bella, why? Because Venus. It's the most beautiful time of the year. Life is at its most fruitive in May. Mother's Day, Earth Day, all in May. Maya. It's also illusion, but it's also mercy. I think we were given here to try to make up for shitty things we did in the past, maybe. We're trying to rectify. We're doing Tikkun Olam. Little does the normal person know that Tikkun Olam and the reparation of the world means like wiping out the non-chosen one. Oh, goddess, please don't let this Abrahamic faith conquer this world any longer. May the Aquarian be a bastion of force to get us out of the darkness of that God, that Kako demon Yahweh. Can we get a little help? Dog, she's helped me so much. I lost my mom when I was young. And since then, the goddess took over my care. And she's also my bride. And my sister. It's like in West Virginia. No, but it's and daughter, and mother. And earth, and body, and everything. The masculine is just the dot in the energy and action. Everything that's not that is feminine. So even thought action, because it's in the material realm, it's still ultimately feminine. So men, they need to get in touch with, but then some men so in touch with their feminine side, usually because of lack of a father figure. Which it could be a lack of an understanding, a relationship with the male archetype. So then, because of that environment they grew up in, then they would have to spend a little more time with God as a male archetype. But then when you've done that, then you go to God as a female archetype, which is going to the woman to be born again into the spiritual realm, which is eternal. So when If you want to have sex with the sacred prostitute, virgin, prostitute, high priestess in the inner sanctum sanctorum, the price to sleep with her is your life. All right, I love you guys. Isis, all that ever was, all that is Isis, and all that will ever be. No mortal has ever lifted thy veil. Queen of heaven, mother of earth, bride of the Sabbath. Why? Because Saturn. Why? Because Saturn rules Aquarius, the seventh heaven age that we're stepping into. Let's do it consciously, courageously. Y'all like my new mic setup? I hope there's not too much echo in this room. I gotta put some padding on the walls. But my wireless setup is great. I could just... Well, let's close this session down. Thank you for this. That's me lightning to the cabal. The black dove, Nephthys. My priestly garbs, which I just meant to enter. This got sent to me accidentally in the mail. A Celtic cross, all hand, from a Catholic priest, an Irish one. It made its way into me. You may recognize this background from such videos. It's my studio. Here's a painting I did of the rising up of the goddess from Earth, together with the new moon, and then crowned with Sirius, and then rising up that spiral-like energy that's trapped in us. And then here's the goddesses of the fixed signs of the zodiac. Taurus is where our moon's going to be, which is why we look to see where Venus is. The moon is exalted in Taurus. And it's an earth sign. So really, look how beautiful that is. Globe Earth. I think Earth is a 12-sided dodecahedron. It's matrix. It's an illusion. My backyard. I'm working on building a temple, a church to host services, to come up with an alternative to Judeo-Christianity, Islamicism. Gotta do it. All right, have a good day.